Welcome to the Strong Back Nation podcast, the show where we talk junk and build empires. I'm your host, Todd Cardon. Stay strong, stay hungry, and keep building. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Strong Back Nation podcast. And hopefully you like the intro. I'm still getting sold on it myself. I wanted today to talk about networking and how important that is. And so right off the bat, I'm going to tell you right now, I have not utilized networking as nearly as much as I probably should. And simply because it's just me. Like, I don't have a team or any additional employees or help for them to do the work and me to go out to those and network. But there are those that I've been following and listening to that, 40% at least is, or if not more, is their business that comes in is from referrals, from networking. And so I'd like to increase that quite a bit with what I'm doing. So before I get into kind of what my plans are when I do get to the position and capacity for me to be able to network, kind of want to go back of where I first learned about networking. So in my college days, we did a business expedition where you go tour different businesses and hopefully get an internship type thing. And so there was a guy, his business was primarily putting on networking events. So him and his team would call CEOs, business owners, and invite them to this event, and they pay, like $500 or however much that was 15 years ago. And that's what he did. But the importance of, there's a reason why people pay money, because it's the value of meeting people and opportunities is definitely there. So I definitely know that it would be beneficial for me to hit up all the apartment complexes or property management companies and real estate agents, build up a team that way, but I know that takes time. And senior living facilities, just, networking. But also, honestly, it takes a certain personality. So you've got to do what works best for you. So if you're if talking to people if that comes easy to you, then that definitely has that strength is on your side as far as that goes. But I do know that it's important, and you do need to get out there to meet more people. And I know it works, because you're gonna build connections, meet people, and develop friendships that you'll have probably the rest of your life or for a long period of time. And so or even partnerships, people that you meet. So huge opportunity there. So I know that if you build up the network and have people on your team, they'll keep you busy. Real estate agents, property management companies, stuff like that, for your junk removal business. But a couple other networking. So I dabbled into some networking groups, and I could see how beneficial it is, but it just takes time. The amount of time it takes to get that going is just, it's a commitment. But I can see how it would work. So there's a few networking groups that I tried out. There's the BNI group, And that's, if you're like they're really strict, so they, if you sign up, you can't miss any meetings, or they're pretty strict on attendance and making sure you're there, which is that's important. But if I had somebody on my team, I would for sure just like be there every time. But the times that I did go, I was able to meet a lot of different people and network, and I could see how they would keep you busy with referrals, especially with commercial work. And then there was another local group. I forget what it was called. It was like kind of like a chamber of commerce. They're a little bit more laid back. But anyway, so I did that networking event. So that's pretty much all I have to say on as far as that goes. I haven't really tried too much of it, but I think as far as this podcast goes, I plan to, this will be a really good, awesome chance for me to meet some people in the industry. There's already a few people I have in mind that I'm going to, extend an invitation to interview, and I'm pretty sure they will accept and say yes. And I think there's some of these guys are some good thought leaders in the industry, and I'd like to interview as many people as possible, because I know a lot of these guys like in my podcast intro, it talks about how now that I've been out a year and I'm going to attempt to be a thought leader. I know there's so many other guys out there that have been doing this for so much longer and have some really good expertise and wisdom to make your business thrive. And so, I've been doing this for a year and a half, and I'm hoping I can get to year 3, because I hear that by year 3, if you haven't gone out of business, or things happen, you're still going, then you're doing pretty good. So that's what I'm hoping to get to year 3 pretty quick. So, but I would like to interview a lot of different people in the industry, and I'm pretty sure they will. Like I want to kind of compile as many people on this podcast to try to get people coming to this platform to kind of share their expertise and insights on the industry. And ultimately, maybe someday I'll get the owner of the CEO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We'll see. That would be pretty cool. I'm sure everybody would want to listen to that, right? So that's as far as networking goes. Those are some things coming up. Shifting gears. So speaking of networking, getting to know your competitors. So here's a really cool thing that I've already experienced recently. So there was a job that I got that we were able to help this sweet lady move most of her things, except she had this freezer that was a 50-year-old freezer. Those really heavy ones that are like the deep freeze that weigh like 900 pounds. Oh man. Well, she had one of those, and it was just deep in her basement. And not only that, but it was filled with rotting meat for who knows how long it's been in there. So I had to get one of those really intense face masks so I could breathe and got the meat out. But it came down to I couldn't get the freezer out. And so that was really unfortunate, because you want to be able to come prepared to be able to help all the customers. And so that was a lesson learned for me should realize that, hey, I should probably bring some help to get that freezer out. But anyway, she lives where she lives is kind of out in the country, like really far from the city, and that's why she contacted me, because I'm way out there, just away from the city as well. And so there was nobody else that she could find that would be willing to drive that far to take care of her. And so I gave her a couple names, but that wasn't enough. And so here's where the networking came to help. That I was really surprised by this. So we're going to back up a little bit. So this junk removal owner called me up like a week prior, maybe 2 weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, and we had a really good conversation. I talked to him for a long time, and he said when he first started out, he called every single junk removal owner that's not the big guys, no franchises or anything like that, but just like every single junk removal owner, to get to know them and to get them on his list as a potential person for him to reach out to if he needs it. And so I was able to kind of pick his brain a little bit, kind of what he's doing for marketing and where his service area. And so, but he did he's been in operation, I think, at least 3 years, but he's got a database, like he has a database of all the junk removal owners in the area that he can just call up, and he knows a lot of people. So anyway, the freezer predicament that I was in, I didn't even think about that, but I just gave her a couple names and they weren't able to help her, and I was worried that she was just going to be sitting with this freezer with meat juice in it, because I got the meat out, and it's just like flooded her house with the most death odor you'll ever experience in your life. And so I was like, oh man. But I remember this guy that I talked to, he came to my mind, so I gave him a call, and he knew. I was like, hey, is there anybody that could come up and help her, help get this removed? And so he knew exactly the guy, and we were able to contact him, and the guy and his crew or his team came and got it removed, and she was able to get taken care of. Happy customer. I didn't have to leave her hanging, and so we were able to get the help she needed. So that's the power of networking. If you're able to just have somebody that you can just call at any moment's notice, know exactly who to call, and they'll be able to be there to help. That's pretty powerful. So takeaway is get to know as many people as you can, even if they're competitors. Because I've already handed off a number of jobs to people that I couldn't do, or if they were too far. Like, here, can you just take this one? I'm not going to be able to get to it. It's so nice to be able to just have that at your fingertips. I think there's a book called Never Eat Lunch Alone or something. I don't know. I think back in the college days there's something like that I heard about. Or maybe that was some advice I heard. But yeah, if you eat lunch with somebody that you don't know every single day, I think that's what those networking groups do, like BNI. You go out to lunch or you meet somebody and really get to know their business, their goals, that type of thing. It's really helps you out. So those are my thoughts. Build up your networking. That's one part of a huge area of your business that you can focus on to gain leverage. All right, until next time.